What's good, War Rapport family? Your man Ike Jones here, talking a little basketball today. Auburn versus Ole Miss in Oxford. Auburn is taking their now number 21 ranked team on the road for the second time in the SEC. Hopefully a better outcome this time for the Tigers on the road in SEC play versus an Ole Miss team that struggled a little bit this year. You guys come on in here. You know what to do. We are sponsored by prizepicks.com. Make sure you head over to prizepicks.com. Use code Rapport if you want to be able to get 100% price match on your first deposit using code Rapport up to $100 on that first deposit. If you guys don't know what that is, prizepicks.com. We're going to go in and check out Prize Picks right now and take a look at what we have available over here. Prizepicks.com is daily fantasy, so a lot of props available here. You got to get that locked in before the game starts. About 28 minutes until the scheduled tip-off here. You can see what I've got going on over here, but all you have to do in Prize Picks is navigate to whatever sport you want to do. They got multiple sports. We're talking college basketball tonight, and we can look up Auburn here and see what we have available for our props. Now, the ones that I've decided to go with are going to be Jalen Williams. I think he's going to have a big game, and Janai Broome. I think we're going to go back to the post to try to get our dominance going on the inside in this game and try to go inside out against them. It's going to be interesting to see how Ole Miss chooses to defend. They haven't been a particularly great shot blocking team this year, but I assume that they're going to try to dig in on the post and even go to a zone potentially. But we play fairly well with zone, with our big men being able to come to the high post and navigate the action from there. So I think we're going to go with Jalen Williams and Janai Broome on the points over here. The other things that we've got available here are rebounds, points, rebounds, assists, a fantasy score for Janai Broome. We got rebounds on Jalen Williams. KD Johnson hasn't really gotten out of his shooting slump, but 9 points doesn't seem like a lot for him to be able to get. But I'm kind of staying away from that until I see KD Johnson prove something on the court a little bit. Then we got Wendell Green, some stuff here from him. He had a big shooting game the last game, but I haven't really seen him put back-to-back together once we got into Power 5 play. So a big game from from Wendell would be a good thing here. When you flip over here to the Mississippi side, from the Ole Miss side, there's a couple of things that are available here. I think probably the safer pick here is probably to go with Ruffin on the points, but I did go with Matthew Morrell. I'm actually second guessing that as I'm sitting here talking right now about whether or not I want to switch that. And in fact, as I sit here and do that, I am going to switch over to go to Ruffin on points here. Getting 10 points feels like something that he could go out there and get. I think a super safe one here would be the three-pointers made by Matthew Morrell. They haven't been particularly great from three this year, has Ole Miss. But once you get your card locked in, you have the option to either go power play or flex. I'm going to flex on this one, and we'll place our entry and then get in here with our Prize Picks card secured. You guys let me know what your thoughts are on Prize Picks. Again, head to prizepicks.com to put in your Prize Picks card to be able to play daily fantasy. But let's talk a little bit about this game. We've got about 26 minutes until we tip off against Mississippi here. And what are you guys' thoughts on this game? As I sit here and I look at Ole Miss and what they've done, again, Ole Miss is only shooting 29% on the season from three-point land. And on the season, they are averaging just south of 68 points per game. With a strategy like that and what we saw Bruce Pearl and company do against Arkansas, it'd be interesting to see as to whether or not they decide to go back to a zone to force Ole Miss to shoot more from the outside and try to pack the lane in, or they're going to go back to their pressure because turnovers, Ole Miss is averaging 13.5 per game right now. Right, that's not a ridiculous number, but it is a pretty high number against teams in which Auburn has played. Auburn, from a statistics standpoint, is forcing, 8.5 steals per game, right? We are averaging right around the same amount of turnovers per game, though. So if we can keep our turnovers low, that's been the story for us this season. Keep your turnovers low, and you've got an awesome chance to be in here. I see you guys coming in here. Steve Valentine, I see you. David M. I see you. Corey, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Jackson L. Matthew Colefield, good to see you guys in here. War Eagle to everybody. Again, Auburn fans are hoping to not have a repeat of the last trip on the road in the SEC, which was Georgia. Georgia, I think, a better team than some people give them credit for, and maybe Auburn wasn't ready for the onslaught that Georgia was able to produce offensively. Unless Ole Miss just has a ridiculously good shooting night, they should not have that offensive power. The thing that you're going to have to worry about against Ole Miss is this thing that has been an issue for Auburn, and that's lackadaisical play and turning the ball over. If you can stay away from turning the ball over, you're going to be pretty good to get out of here with a win, because again, Ole Miss has not shot the ball particularly well. I mean, from the field, they are only 42.9% on the season. 42.9%. When we look at Auburn, I mean, we're only shooting 43.4. So again, Auburn's not shot the ball particularly well, and it's even worse if you look at our statistics on the road, right? So we need to be able to do that. From the free throw line, Ole Miss is shooting right around 68% on the season. So 29% from three, 68% from free throw, and 43%. Offensively, they mirror us a lot. The difference between us and them and how we've been able to put up points is we've been better at forcing turnovers and getting extra possessions. We've been dominating the boards. It's going to be another game where you're going to need to be able to play well on the glass and really play good defense. I think that if you keep Ole Miss under 65 here, it's a blowout, right? If you keep them under 75, you get away with a narrow win if Auburn's playing Auburn basketball on the offensive end. If Auburn comes out and shoots well, Ole Miss doesn't have a prayer in this game, I don't think. But, listen, it's road SEC. It's going to be a hostile environment out there. Going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays out. Let's come here to the chat and see what some of you guys are talking about. If you guys don't know, man, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Make sure that you are sharing the video. Share the video. Make sure you at the War Report. We are at the War Report on Twitter. So if you're sharing that video on Twitter, if you're on Facebook right now, just go ahead and hit the share button. We are live on Facebook. So welcome to the Facebook, folks. We don't go live on Facebook a lot these days, but I try to do that some for these pre-games so that you guys get an opportunity to hang out with us in the space that you're in. Go ahead and like the video right now. I do see the one like there on Facebook. If you're on YouTube right now, go ahead and like the video. That helps us with the algorithm right there from the live chat, and we appreciate it very much. Using the hashtag Get Your Weight Up, of course, if you're going to share the video. But let's go to the chat and see what we've got coming on here from you guys' thoughts. Not going to talk a lot about football tonight. I did see the commitments that we have come in, but hey, if you guys want to talk football tomorrow morning, the morning drop, we will be here to talk football. So if you have a football comment and I ignore it, it's not because I don't love you. It's because we want to talk basketball tonight and give love to these guys that are on the basketball court, giving their heart to Auburn. And we got a space to talk plenty of football with you guys tomorrow morning on the morning drop. So make sure you head over to the YouTube and come and check out the morning drop. 9 a.m. Central Time. We'll be talking a little bit more football. Anyway, so let's get into these basketball comments here. Jackson L says this should be a good game to catch some fire on offense. Listen, I'm definitely hoping to see a good offensive performance again from us. We played really well against Arkansas offensively. I'm looking to see another one of those Arkansas / really more of a Washington type of game, right? Something that's on the road in a hostile environment where you're playing against a Power 5 opponent, but you're playing really well offensively. So hopefully we see one of those. Matthew Cofield jumps in and says, I think our offense could overwhelm them weirdly, if not out definitely. So listen, I'm hoping that we do have an offensive onslaught here. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how they play against us. Corey Weber jumps in and says, my thoughts, this has no business being a game, which means it will be close throughout. Listen, man, I don't try to predict blowouts ever for Auburn because I don't know what's going to happen. They like to make my blood pressure rise. Hopefully, my guy Mike G is staying far away from his TV screen tonight because he doesn't need this kind of stress in his life. Maybe we'll just tell him to tune in once we know whether or not we've got the game in hand. Matthew jumps back in and said defense could take care of them too. Absolutely listen, if you've guys heard me talk about this Auburn basketball team, I think defense is going to be the calling card. I'm not looking for us to be awesome offensively. I'm looking for us to be great defensively and good on the boards to be able to get us second chance opportunities, because that's really the way that I think that we're going to be able to dominate. As we start to get better playing inside out, letting guys like Janai Broome and Jalen Williams lead the offense, we're going to have a good opportunity to be better offensively as we play inside out. Janai Broome being better at recognizing those double teams and passing out of those double teams more effectively. He's going to be really good. and helping to lead the offense. I do like what I've seen more recently from KD Johnson, though, as being more under control in the open court and not forcing a lot of bad shots. He's taking really good shots. He's just got to knock a few more of those down. Brad says, should be a win, but something about away games scare me. Listen, I am with you on this one. Away games are never going to be easy. It's always going to be hostile environments. But we need to take a page from South Carolina's book right now. They are at Kentucky doing work, man. They're away and they are the underdog, and they are out here hooping against Kentucky, man. They are up 66-58 right now with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in that game. I want to see a South Carolina. That's crazy for me to see. I want to see a South Carolina-like effort out of our team. They've only scored 66 points, but they are up by double digits against Kentucky on the road. So, hey, Kentucky, man, Ty's not playing. It doesn't count, bro. I feel you. I feel your pain. Cappy, man, I see you. War Eagle to you. Matthew jumps back in, says taking care of the ball is the key. It absolutely is the key, man. Listen, if you're not going to shoot the ball well, you can't also give them additional possessions by just throwing the ball to them or having weird dribble it off your own foot. I don't mind turnovers that get forced by good defense. I hate the ones where we're, being careless with making lazy passes or being careless with dribbling the ball off our own foot or, just trying to force the ball into weird situations or not having good post entry. I hate those types of situations. If somebody makes a good play, steal, all that, I'm fine with that stuff. It's just the bad turnovers and the sloppy play that infuriates me. Corey asked, Ike, what does Kermit do so effectively against Bruce? This is a great question because Bruce Pearl actually talked about this. If you guys want to, I'm going to probably end this live about 10 minutes prior to 8. So we got about 8 minutes left in here so you guys can make the transition over to the game. But we do have the pregame press conferences from the players and Coach Pearl up on the channel. So head over to YouTube and check out the War Rapport. Pregame press conferences are there. And you can hear Bruce Pearl talk about he'd rather have more time to be able to prepare for what Kermit Davis does. And what he does really well is being able to trap effectively and put some sort of pressure packages together and throw your offense off of its rhythm. So he just does that really well. They do have some bigger guards there that they can try out there that will be more effective against our small guards. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bruce does in combat that and taking pressure off of his guards and being able to make sure that we don't get into a lot of late ball forced shots out of smaller guards against bigger guys. Hopefully we have a good strategy for that. But again, didn't have a lot of time to prepare on the quick turnaround from Arkansas this Saturday. It's coming up to a Tuesday game. David says, I want to see us take good shots and not force bad ball play. Yes, absolutely. This is what we're talking about. Jackson L says, got a rebound, no second chance points. This has probably been the biggest bugaboo for Auburn against teams that they should beat in the last 2 years is, if we go back to the Florida game last year, the Tennessee, even though Tennessee's a good team, the Tennessee game last year, just playing good defense but not finishing the possession with a rebound has been an issue for Auburn. They have not done well in games that they should win that get tight in rebounding well on the defensive end and allowing the team to get second chance points. So other games that we've lost this season, we've had some disparities in the middle. We're going to have to play big up front. Hopefully you get another good game, another solid game from Alan Flanagan to be able to provide you some of that big guard action and going in there and getting some tough boards along with Chris Moore because they're going to need to help the big guys on this one, I think. Leah Stottle jumps in and asks, who's going to have the most points this game? I say Broom, War Damn Eagle. War Eagle, right back to you, man. I think I'm going to wow, Kentucky's really about to lose this game, bro. Like, it's 69-58. Woo. South Carolina out here bombing on them. But I think Broom is probably the guy who I would look to say is going to have the most points. He seems to be a steady hand, especially if they are going to, as I assume, play a lot of zone against us and try to force us to play outside. They're going to get some looks to Broom there in the center. They're going to try to take it away, but I think Auburn's going to have a good strategy to do that. Let's see here. Hey, listen, Damian, I agree. He says, War Damn Eagle, a 4th and Kiffin shirt would look good in the pavilion tonight. Listen, there is no wrong time to troll and have 4th and Kiffin shirts out there, man. I'm going to be disappointed that I put these 4th and Kiffin shirts together and Kiffin, if he goes and takes an NFL job, because I need to have that troll in full effect this fall. But yes, definitely would be a good time to do that. Matthew, appreciate you to join. Recently just joined. Love the videos and lives. Thank you so much for coming on board. And War Eagle to you. Thanks for joining the family. Uh, Dia Look says AF's, that's Alan Flanagan's game, is starting to click better late than never. Last two games, he started slowly against Georgia, and then later in the game, he started to play a little bit better and more confident. He carried that over into the Arkansas game where he had his best game of the season so far, bar none. I mean, even going back to Israel, I think this was his best game. I do think that Alan Flanagan needs to continue down that path. If he can be that guy, that lessens the pressure of what we're going to need from a points perspective from our guards, and they can be more distributive and get other people involved. And then you can just get quality down the stretch shot making and free throw stuff from Wendell Green, which has been really the big thing for him. He's had some good shooting games, particularly the last game came out hot. But where he's been clutch for us is down the stretch, being able to get to the free throw line or get to the paint and penetrate, and either be a distributor or go get tough buckets in the lane. So I really want him to be able to do that more because the pressure's taken off from the other guys being able to score early. John Brandon says, Ike with the live hat trick today. Absolutely. Did the morning drop this morning, did a noon, watch the film for those of you who are members of the War Rapport. So War Rapport. So Matthew, now that you've joined, you'll get an opportunity to be in on those midday film sessions with me out there. And then tonight for basketball, I am live again. And if this game ends early enough, I might do a post game. You never know, bro. I might come hit you with the 4-peat on y'all. You know what I'm talking about? But I don't know. It just depends on how early the game ends, whether or not I jump back in here. Don Cullen jumps in here and doubles down on hoping to see Flanagan have a good night. Definitely want to see that. This is a good question. Kind of NBJ says, how well do NIL basketball players earn? I don't actually know the answer to this. NIL is one of those interesting things where they have this rating system on what they feel like every person is kind of worth. And so they get a requisite just for being on the team and joining the collective. And then you have certain players who have some stuff outside of that. So I actually don't know what the earnings are. It's got to be decent because that's kind of just a portion of what we're doing right now in collegiate athletics. So for us to continue to compete for top prospects, and we have top prospects coming, I'm assuming that the NIL situation is pretty good. But I don't know the answer to that. Cappy Man 34 says, when is Trey Orr going to step up? We need his offense. What I really need from Trey Orr is just not to turn the ball over, man. Like, go in there and be a big body, not turn the ball over. And then the occasional corner three. He's getting those every now and then. The occasional corner three. I don't need much from him. Just, listen, his plus minus, I don't know that he's had a positive plus minus since Israel. So I do need him to be more effective in the times when he's on the floor. The matchups that he's typically on the floor with, specifically if we're in some sort of foul trouble, have been lineups that he's been on the floor with, have not been very productive offensively. So we need him to really be able to step up on the defensive end as a big body, and then offensively just to be a guy who can knock down that corner three that he has the ability to do, but really hasn't shown the proficiency to do since we've gotten into back over here into Power 5 play. Let's see here. Just about 2 minutes left, and going to get out of here in just a minute. Florida is up by 5 in Baton Rouge. Okay. Corey, this is going to be a key statistic, man. If we can be 10 or fewer in turnovers, I think that we win this game running away. I just don't see a low turnover Auburn basketball team losing as well as we play defense. I just can't see it happening unless Ole Miss is just going nuts from three, right? Like, they just shoot uncharacteristically good from three, then it's going to be hard to beat a team who's shooting that well, as Kentucky is finding out right now. They're only down by 8 right now, so they're making a push with 3 minutes left in the game. But it's going to be interesting to see. Let's see. C Hall thinks that Flanagan is going to be the leading scorer tonight. Listen, I will take that as long as that Flanagan leading scoring is somewhere around 16 to 18 points. And we have some other guys in double digits. I would love to see a stat line that showed 3 to 4 guys in double figures tonight, where it's not just one guy. We'll have a couple of guys in doubles, and even distribution, where we get to 70 points, and that 70 points comes from 40 plus points from 4 different players would be a good place for us to be in. Brad asks, would anyone else like to see a little more Dylan Caldwell? Honestly, guys, they haven't put it out in some sort of injury report. And I've mentioned this a couple of times being at games and watching him. Sometimes if you guys look on the sidelines on the camera, you can see it. I think Dylan Caldwell is dealing with a back injury. He's been wearing a back brace pretty much for the last couple of weeks. And he's been going to the locker room early during games. So I think that his limited minutes is not about whether or not he's being effective. I don't think he has the ability to be effective because I don't think that he is completely healthy right now. So again, this isn't something that I have heard them say, but I'm just watching him play, and I'm watching every now and then he looks a little stiff. His back looks like it'll tighten up on him, and then you won't see him come back into the game, which is another reason why Johan Trey Orr needs to step up for us, because we need that other big guy to be able to play well for us. And if Dylan can't take on 20 minutes a game like we really were expecting to him. Let's see here. Cleveland Brown says Janai gets 10 boards and 6 blocks. Look, another double-double from Janai Broom would be a beautiful thing for us to be able to see tonight. 10 boards and 6 blocks with, another 15 points would be a wonderful stat line for us to see from Janai Broom tonight. I'm hoping we can get there. Corey Weber says, is this the game we shoot more free throws than our opponents? I don't know, man. It's a road SEC game. Are we going to get to the free throw line that many times? I think it's going to be about how the whistles fall for us. They tend to whistle it tight for us defensively a lot. So we get a lot of early whistles on defense, and that tends to affect how we play. But I'm not sure if this is going to be the game. I definitely hope so. All right. We are just about 9 minutes from the tip-off in Oxford. We are going to get out of here, but I appreciate you guys checking in with us. Once again, you are watching the one and only War Report with your man, Ike Jones here. PrizePicks.com pregame. Make sure you head over to PrizePicks.com and use code Rapport to get your own picks put in for tonight's game. Hopefully you guys are going to have a wonderful night. Hopefully we have a wonderful night from the team. I am out of here. War Eagle, and let's get this W tonight. Peace.